Hey guys, Mike here. So we get ready to buckle up for another short, fun week ahead right here. We got all kinds of stuff we're going to talk about. We got Nvidia earnings. We got the Senate. They're thinking about voting on, or going to try to vote on the tax bill, which of course that's just another form of liquidity, another boost that could give to the market as well. And of course, we all know the president went out on Truth Social this weekend, so don't worry. We're going to pause those EU 50% tariffs until backing off to like July and stuff. So the market loves it. So as of now, earnings are gapping up, so if you bought puts on Friday, well, they're probably going to be toast come Monday. But again, we'll see how the market's going to hold up through the Asian session and all that good stuff, because you know how that works. And so we'll go over those charts for sure. We'll talk about some other sectors as well. Look at the nuclear stock charts. And I did answer a question for somebody about, actually three of you guys were asking about the hottest sectors over the next 5 to 10 years. And just because I say these are the hottest sectors don't mean I'm saying go out and buy stock today. And these stocks that have ran up 30, 40, 50, 60% in like 1 or 2 days and stuff like that, that's up to you. And a lot of people made the point, look, quantum computing is like anything else. It's going to take years to show any form of profit or anything like that. So, it's going to be an up and down deal. That's just kind of how it works. But a lot of them are low float stocks, and so they can just move like crazy and they can drop like crazy. But as far as the sectors, yes, robotics, quantum computing, all that fun stuff will be fun to watch over the next really 3 to 5 years, but 5 to 10 years especially. I also got some news about Tesla out. We'll talk about that as well as going on some other stocks to watch. They're breaking either new 52-week highs or almost new all-time highs and stuff like that. So we'll talk about those as well. Again, happy Memorial Day for everybody who enjoyed the long weekend. But don't forget what today is. We celebrate or honor the soldiers that have sacrificed, made the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy these freedoms, right? I can sit here and film this video in peace, and I'm not worried about Russian soldiers jumping over my fence or anything like that, okay? I mean, and a lot of countries don't have that. So, I'm just as guilty as anybody else when I take my freedoms for granted. And sometimes we forget how many people have sacrificed their lives for this country to go to war for us. And so, I definitely honor them and, celebrate them, really, seriously. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. I love this chart right here. It talks about the market rally pummels short sellers, and boy, from 480 to 520, 250 billion in losses for short sellers, with the Mag 7 accomplishing about 36 billion. There's Tesla. I think that thing joked around and said it's probably cost more people their fortunes and marriages, and people love to short it. So God bless you. But looking at SPY here, you can see, pretty controlled move down here, 3.8% right there. And what do? Tested the 200 moving average, right? Took the tweet out about the EU tariffs to do it, but we got it. We actually had a successful retest of it. Hadn't even come close to filling this entire gap, but it also came down to 0.5 fib. So now you came down to a discount, bounced off of 200. Again, it can go below the 200, right? That's not even an issue. It can go below the 50 as long as it gets back up above it. But, with this gapping up right here, obviously, then, either one or two things are going to happen. One, you want to watch and make sure Friday's low holds. If we do sell off in the morning or sell off overnight, that's key. If we do break Friday's low, then obviously I think that gap really is going to get filled most likely. And the other one is trying to break above this level, because you did have that market structure shift down, right? We started breaking certain levels. And so we're going to see, is this just a news headline rally overnight and then they're going to dump us in the morning? But so far, I mean, even though we've had this drop down, it keeps getting, bought up, and we'll drop down a little bit and it'll get bought up. And so, the reason for this obviously is people chasing. I'll show you in just a second. But if we get the tax bill passed, if Nvidia has really good earnings and the market just loves it, we're going to start pushing up to that all-time high. All right, you see CTAs, remember, they're trend followers. They've been buying in over the last probably 3 to 4 weeks right here. You can see they're still not above that dotted line, the zero line. You also see the NAAIM exposure index. They've been buying, okay? And so, look at the Qs, though, it's a totally different story, right? Didn't even get close to the 200 moving average. And I don't even think we got a 50% retracement, to be honest with you. But, it did come down here, break that level, but then move right back up at the end of the day. Dip buyers started moving in on Friday. I mean, I think we opened up, 1.5% down or something, and they just bought it up like hotcakes. So I was telling members, watch for those dip buyers. Every morning I say that, and that's what happened. They actually pushed it green of Friday. So, that's what was really amazing about that move, especially on a Friday. But yeah, you've been better off just buying calls, shutting your computer down, and going off to enjoy your weekend, I guess. But, looking at QQW, like I told you, watch this one. It is in the gap already. It's only 2.3% away from that 200. And as I showed you, the equal weighted ETFs have actually been doing better than the Qs and the S&P right there. because they were only about 4.3% away from all-time highs, I believe it was. Or actually, I think it was 4% before this little minor sell-off happened. But we knew this was coming because we were just so freaking overbought and stuff. Nvidia, of course, is going to dictate a lot of this, how the market's going to accept the earnings, however they're going to turn out. It looks like it's bull flagging right here. You can see. We'll see if it's going to hold this trend line right there. It didn't come down in Tesla 200, but we did come down, obviously get about a 0.5 fib retracement right there. Wednesday's going to be the earnings. Remember, tomorrow's Tuesday. So the very next day is going to happen. And you can see the levels of above. If it really enjoys and it starts to move, then boom, there's 143, 152 is all-time highs on this thing. And if it goes, yeah, I mean, I think you see semiconductors just continue to push and push and push, which has been one of the leading sectors out of this bottom. Then yeah, we'll go to all-time highs, and I'll throw myself out of this chair if we didn't get any form of stimulus, because what's happening is all this is happening. The Fed rate cuts have just took a back seat. I mean, there's hardly any that are even priced in right now. And so they keep decreasing how many Fed rate cuts are going to happen and stuff like that. So to get all back to all-time highs with no form of stimulus, no form of rate cuts, all that stuff would be an amazing feat to see. And so let's see how they accept NVIDIA's earnings. If we break that trend line, start coming back down, then obviously that's going to drag the market down with it. Tesla, of course, is consolidating. Some people call this a bull flag. I call it consolidation. You can see if we're going to rinse and repeat this thing. Last time we consolidated, big move up. We've been consolidating for, what is it, like 7, 8 straight days. I've showed you, just will not leave this box no matter what the news is, no matter how bad it is, and no matter how good it is. It tends to stay right here. I'm expecting the gap up tomorrow because some news that came out about Elon, or some news he released, and usually the stock loves it when he does that stuff. But you can see this right here. It looks just like Nvidia, right? It was kind of just following this trend line, bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Almost got the third touch right there. The robo-taxi event, it doesn't have an exact date yet, but it's actually scheduled for like around the end of June, so probably last week. It's supposed to be on schedule. Again, it loves to run up into these events, and then it's a sell the news event, of course, and you can just see we're still just stuck here. I mean, that is, he's on a 50-50 deal, but they are just buying calls like insanely. I mean, I've seen 700 calls, you name it, buying them up, 500 calls. You know, I was thinking maybe 370, 400 if it continues to rally up here, and it can move pretty fast through that area. Same way it can move pretty fast down. So, you know, maybe there's a chance we just don't get the pullback, and it just stays right here unless some crazy news comes out to actually try to push it down. But again, the news, every time it comes out, nothing happens, nothing really pushes down. And you can see Elon said, I think it was Friday or Saturday, back to spending 24/7 at work and sleeping in conference servers / factory rooms. I must be super focused on X and AI and Tesla. So again, it loves when, you know, Elon says that. Remember the pop we got last time when he said he was going to be not spending so much time at Doge and everything like that, and just went on this huge rally. So watch Rivian for sure if this happens, because it's going to run up to at least 18, 19 bucks if Tesla takes off, and it's going to run down if Tesla does not. All right. Crowd update here. Finally broke out this flag pattern right here. Got the all-time highs barely. What you want to look at is what it's done in the past when it gets to all-time highs. Again, great stock right here. But any other time it's done this, it usually comes back down and it'll retest the previous all-time high. A lot of stocks do this, right? And you want to see if that holds. Again, there it is right there again. So you just want to see if it's holding. It will run up 20, 30% a lot of times once it gets past all-time highs. Again, there's no resistance. Just price discovery is all it is, folks. And this is a strong one. This is a very popular stock. And so you can see that. And so when we start pulling up fibs in this thing, you can see right there 495, 527, 532 are really your next levels. But the biggest thing to look for is see if we get a retest of that previous all-time high and see if it holds. That's really what you want to look for. And then it can start to move. We've seen this many, many, many times over. You can see we hadn't had it yet. Okay, that's a daily chart. So just kind of peek this head over. Didn't close at an all-time high yet. Okay, so let's see if we get a close above the all-time high and then start the retest. Oklo, a lot of nuclear stocks. Looking at a couple of these, and we talked about these a while back. I mean, just big, big moves up on these stocks, on the fact that Trump signed an executive order and everything, ushering in America's nuclear renaissance. And the truth is, really, nobody knows what that even means when you start scrolling through. I mean, you can tell how long this takes to get this online. They're going to build nuclear reactors and stuff, because a senior White House official also said the administration is hoping to test and deploy nuclear reactors before the president's term concludes. Okay, so it's not like you just snap your finger and it happens. And again, it's supposed to be this substantial reorganization of the National Reactor Committee and all this stuff, but really nobody knows what it means, right? So this thing is just moving on. News and all that good stuff. And you can see how it's moved up. I mean, test, and then it keeps consolidating and moving up, moving up. We're at that 0.79 fib now. That is all-time highs to the left. So with that kind of big move, obviously you would like some form of pullback maybe to fill that gap before it moves higher. And plus, since this is a news event, a lot of times you will get the move down, but a lot of this is short covering as well. NNE is another one. I mean, 30% move in one day. And so this is another one. And you can see a level that's very important that would be a great retest for this one is right there, like 3304, something like that. But you can see right there what was resistance so many different times. So to come back and test that right there and bounce, like that will be really good for this one right here. And I mean, do I chase news candles? Absolutely freaking not. And you can see this trend line right here. It'd be the exact test you would get, right? So it tests that ascending trend line plus what used to be resistance, turn that back into support. So snow, you can see this one. At first I was like, oh, let me not make the same mistake I made. I believe it was Robinhood. Like this is another of those ones that's been killed, okay? And so that is a new 52-week high off earnings, not an all-time high. It used to be a $400 and what is that, $16 stock when Buffett was in it. And so this one's got a long way to go if it ever to get back to there. And so we got the gap up. It's in a gap right here as well. So you can see it just, that's why it's flying up through this right here. And you can see that white line is a great area for a retest. Again, if it comes back down, just look for it to actually hold 194.02. And below that, obviously you got your earnings gaps, but does not have to fill at all. And this is what we keep seeing repeatedly, right? These stocks move up and they end up coming back down, retesting, and moving higher if the market is continuing to move higher, okay? Google's another one, simple. Look for the gap up Monday, start heading back up, breaking 177.23. If that happens, it's going to 182, like we talked about. If not, just gotta hold like that 165, 166 area. Or breaks that and look for that ascending trend line to get tested right around 160, 163. Again, this has been a laggard right here for sure, no doubt about it, with all the news coming out about search and everything else, but still, so far it's doing it. And speaking of like trying to retest its previous all-time high, you can see right here with Uber, right? It's coming back down, it's retesting this all-time high after hitting that fib extension, and so you get to see if it's gonna hold. Why is this important? Bring that swing low to that swing high, and boom, it's got its 0.5 fib retracement coming down to a daily fair value gap. So don't be surprised to see this one bounce. Okay, it's had a nice, huge move up for crying out loud. It's a very popular one, big with retail, also big with institutions. So watch for this one right here for sure as it continues to move. And lastly, Hood, speaking of another one right here, it's retesting a 52-week high right there. Let me go ahead and take this logarithm off. And you can see now, is it a double top? I mean, I seriously doubt it. But again, you'll hear that, I have no doubt, on Twitter. That's what you're going to see. This one's had a big move up, and it's moved up, you know, in a nice structural way as it's gone up right here. We're consolidating multiple times, bull flagging out, all that good stuff. And so when it breaks up, again, you're just going to watch and see if it's going to break 68. If it comes back and retests, then that's usually your sign. You can see it's, you know, maybe going to flag out. I'm sure it's going to, if the market gaps up tomorrow, it's going to break that. There's no doubt about it. And this has been a nice big mover. It's been consolidating right there. Again, it came down, actually got its 50% retracement from where it's at from the previous swing low. And so, you know, we'll see if this is going to be another big move, but that's not the all-time high. Remember, this one's gotten crushed in the past. This is one I had to apologize about because 84.40, I believe maybe that is the previous all-time high. So about $20-something away. So we'll have to look at that one. And this is another one. You got these trend lines now starting to form where they're just starting to bounce off these trend lines as we're moving up, okay? Now looking at earnings, first we look through this, Monday was nothing to worry about, we were closed. On Tuesday, we got PDD, AutoZone, then in the afternoon, Okta, and then on Wednesday, Dick's, a whole bunch of retailers right here, as you can see, and then the big boys, Nvidia, Salesforce, and then there's C3AI and Elf, which is starting to become a really popular one again. Thursday, Foot Locker, Best Buy, Kohl's, Hormel Foods, Futu, Burlington. Then in the afternoon, Marvel, Costco, Dell, Ulta, Gap, Zscaler, American Eagle, and then nothing to worry about on Friday. Now we do have a very, very light data week coming here with the 4-day week. A lot of Fed speakers going to be out. Again, hardly any red folder news. Like on Tuesday, you got durable goods, CB consumer confidence. Wednesday, FOMC minutes. And then Thursday, you finally got some red folder news, preliminary GDP quarter over quarter, unemployment claims, preliminary GDP, price index quarter over quarter, pending home sales, then a lot of FOMC speakers, and then on Friday, core PC price index month over month. Good trade balance, which I bet you everybody's going to watch now. personal income, personal spending, and then Chicago PMI, which everybody be looking out for. So hope you got some out of it, guys. Please hit that like, subscribe button if you did. Think about signing up for the membership, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.